Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we have got yet another video from Artis Opus where me and Byron sat down, and this time around we did something a bit different to the black and white gradient that you saw last time. That was a good kind of intro demonstration to how Series D and drybrushing works and how good it can be, but we decided to take it up a step. It was mostly my fault, and I said, why don't we do something bright and colourful? So we took one of the panels from some Adeptus Titanica scenery and did this like pink to purple to green gradient on a flat panel just using dry brushing. So that's what's happened there, and this video will show you how to do that, what colours we used, what brushes we used, the techniques that we used, all of that, and mine actually came out okay in the end. Bit shaky to start with, but then again, as I've said before, I'm pretty much a novice to this, whereas Byron very much knows what he's doing. So this is a really good one to show you exactly what you can do in terms of like really high intensity colours and high contrast stuff. So yeah, it was really good fun. It worked out really well, and I think the videos come out really well as well. So enjoy it. I hope it's informative. If you want to find anything out about Artis Opus or anything like that, then there are a bunch of links in the description. You can check those out. And yeah, I will see you after this. Yeah, okay, so we're going to do I guess the opposite of kind of black to white and go for...
This is the visual reference we have. So this is a colour square that I showed John in the past. This is a year ago I did this, so you're going to see us trying to achieve that live on camera.
Try and replicate it.
Yeah, it was an experiment, but with your predisposition towards very subtle colour palettes.
Oh, yeah,
I showed you that, and you were all over it.
I'm all about keeping it really subtle.
Okay, well let's see how we can do this. So, first steps first, we need to put down that kind of pre-undercoat base coat thing we spoke about. So whatever's going on, we've got a prime square here. We need to put down a layer of something that isn't our primer. So let's choose a nice. For this one, we're going to put down a lighter colour, because if we want dark with this, we can use dark colours, but we're aiming to just punch with something pretty aggressive. So I'm going to do a Stippling base coat. Super quick here. This doesn't have to be perfect at all. We're just putting down the texture. Chosen a mid grey because we're going to be using pretty bright colours, and if there's lighter colours underneath them, it's going to make sure that the colours are lighter themselves. There we go, nearly there.
And I am following along, and what I'm going to do is cut from Byron's camera so you can see someone doing it proper and to mine so you can see someone trying to do it proper.
We have jumped a bit of the deep end here. I gave him the choice of whether we're doing a black and white one or we're doing a like a linear one, even if it's in colours, like a dark blue to a light green or something like that, and he said let's do the everything. So
I mean, you know, if you've got the choice of going for
in for a penny, in for a pound,
ultra pink and bright green, you've got to go for it, haven't you?
We're in the right place, aren't we? All right, so how does your...
I think that's
our base coats look very similar, actually.
Pretty similar, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we can always flick it in the light to see if everything is indeed as dry as it needs to be. Mine's pretty much there. If I hold it under a lamp for 2 seconds, I reckon we'll be in a good place to go.
Yeah, mine's looking pretty decent.
Okay, so our chosen starting colour for this, he says, like he's definitely certain about his choices, is going to be
that's my start to every paint scheme I do. Okay, my colour for this is something.
Yeah, right, we're just going to stipple from Xeris Purple. This is a fantastic colour for covering anything. Some purples are a little bit picky. This one is not whatsoever. It will go over straight black without any issues whatsoever. So we're going to do this all over. Doesn't back up what I said about doing a lighter colour underneath before, but I think this is probably the best way to go. Looking at my last one, it looks like I went, even though I finished with really really bright colours, it looks like I did go from light to dark, from dark to light, sorry.
If depending on the kind of paints that you prefer, like if you've got like a particular brand that you tend to go for over others, I've found that Hex Lichen from, I think it's Vallejo, I'll put a clarification if that's not right, matches,
or P3 I guess.
Yeah, it matches that really, really well. It's pretty much the same colour.
Yeah, it is. There was the old, if people were from the old days, people are just searching for a Warlock purple, aren't they, basically?
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's not perfect, but we kind of want all over coverage. Again, between colours, I'm flicking off my brush to make sure I don't end up with too much of previous layers on it. This purple here isn't actually going to be showing up massively in the end job, but it's kind of our mid-tone that we're going from.
I'm just missing the very edge, so I'll just
grab some more. It's not a dropper bottle, is it? That's the one.
Yeah,
especially if you're used to drawing out lines on your palette. I'm actually going to get a very sad old brush so I can scoop.
Just go over my edges again. There we go.
Okay, so I'm going to arrange my paint on my palette in lines, which probably, because it's quite warm, we're going to dry out fairly fast, but we'll see if we can work from them.
That's something I have been meaning to ask, actually. Would it be usable to have a wet palette on the side, or would that dilute the paint a bit too much for the purpose of?
What, for taking your paint from for this?
Yeah,
you can do, actually. There's no reason like it's not. Yeah, as long as you didn't have paper that took paint through at a really ridiculous rate, which the proper stuff doesn't, it's absolutely fine to work from a wet palette.
Right.
So we are going to go. We're going to go from our purple kind of in like. Let's just do it diagonally. That's probably easy. If you imagine a line down the middle, top left to bottom right, that's our line of purple, and then we're going to start introducing other colours to it now. So
top left to bottom right, purple, and then that.
Exactly. So the next colour we're going to introduce, which I'm cracking open for the first time, is a Screamer Pink, which is kind of quite a vibrant cherry-ish.
I like Screamer Pink. I've used a lot of Screamer Pink recently. Emperor's Children kind of calls for
absolutely
that sort of.
If you do prime your texture palette black, one of the nice things about it is you can use it to test whether the colour you're about to use is going to cover over black well, which I just, generally speaking, I enjoy working with colours that cover over black nicely, so I find it really useful. Alright, so
failed to switch brush. Just grab me other one.
So we're gonna start, so imagine that line here, and we'll pretty much, so if you watch how I work, I do like a bolder line for the first bit, and then it's after that I do the more subtle stipples.
Okay. Get a little bit more.
Yeah, I've got kind of, it's probably about 50-50, and I've dragged one into the other.
Yeah.
On my palette here. And then the next step is pretty much pure. Yes, it's different. So one of the good habits to get into is when you think you've done the step that is the step that you're on, I just go to the palette, go for a dip, and then just paint a bit of, so I go for the pad, then paint a bit of my palette with a colour, and that helps make sure that even if I was to move on from this brush now, it's had a little cleaning like for free by the years. That's a gloopy one. Right, keep in your preferred colour spectrum. I'll leave that one undone.
Thank you.
How's it going?
I've gone a little bit wider with my stripe.
It's fine. Doesn't matter where it is exactly.
Still.
It can be easier if you're adding the jabby to have it on a flat surface,
just do it straight
so you can kind of aggressively go in there.
A little bit uneven on the edge, but that's my I swear my mantra for using these brushes has become, but that's fine. Because it is literally a case of, oh, that didn't work out quite how I thought. I can go back and sort it, and it's fine.
So next step. So have you done pure pink horror or whatever it is?
Yes, I've done.
Fantastic. So just the same as last time, about 50-50. Take, or actually the pink's a little bit more subtle. So mostly the pink, the bright pink that we've just got, and then add it to your previous colour. And then we're going to stipple. It's a bit more watery as well. Give that some drying time. And take it right up to the corner now, because it's now a brighter colour, so it doesn't matter if so you can see here I've got a fairly unsubtle blend going on between these two. Just going to try and gently, subtly coax that through. I did my first fat line here, and then as the paint on the brush began to run out, carefully work my way down into the previous layer. It's actually quite hard to demonstrate this one for camera while you can see it and the camera can see it. Are you finding it?
I'm getting there, but it's definitely. Mind you, I think that's the same for like all forms of painting, isn't it? As soon as you stick a camera in front of it, it's just harder to.
I liken it to trying to type on a laptop with a cat on your lap, like immediately on your lap. It's like trying to do something around an object.
Yeah.
So I'm going to the pure pink now, right from the corner.
I've got a slight bald spot that I can't quite.
Don't worry, keep working into it. So when you've got your pure pink one, work from the top down. So if you have a look what I'm doing here, this doesn't look particularly subtle.
Yeah.
I do most of my work there, and then I carefully start working into the previous layer with more gentle dabbing. I will start doing a little bit of dry brushing now at this stage as well.
The consistency on the pink horror is definitely really different as well.
Yeah, so you don't need as much water. Or the other thing you can do is you can put it on your palette thinner, so it starts drying out itself, and then go back and use it from that point. So immediately out of the pot, it was slightly unhelpful, but it's getting slightly more cooperative for me at this stage now. It's had some drying time, ironically, which normally would be a really bad thing, but here it's actually somewhat helpful. Yeah, it's behaving so differently, I just made a boo-boo. So I'm carefully using my brush to kind of stipple towards the edges here.
I've still got my stubborn bald spot, but the actual.
You might need to let it dry.
Blend is that getting quite a bit better.
Yeah. It might just need some drying time, so I've been holding mine at the lamp a bit more.
Yeah.
Tell you what, while it's drying, have a look at what I'm doing with mine. So the next stage is we're going to be taking ice yellow. This is a big jump up from our previous colour. As you can see what it's done on the palette there. Be very careful with this. Starting just in the corner. So I start in the area where I don't mind if I have got too much on my brush. I've tested it on the texture palettes, that shouldn't be a thing. But start there, then work on the edges, and then once I know that my brush isn't like I am certain my brush isn't oversaturated. I'm at the point where I can do some more poking without worrying so much about it undoing my previous work.
Yeah.
Looking dry?
I think it's nearly there.
Let's leave it for a bit and watch what I'm doing.
Definitely a runnier paint, that one.
Yeah, it is. I was really surprised by that. So you can see mine now. It's behaving much better on the palette.
Yeah.
So again, I'm going to involve a little bit of my previous paint, at the very least. There you can see that's quite a jump, so I'm going to be really careful with that one. Super gentle. And it's only when I know that this isn't going to give me any nasty surprises that I will start doing the, I'll start working it in the areas where it could do damage if I made a mistake. So it's safe for dry brushing now, we know that. So I can start putting it in these sections without worrying that I'm going to muck up all my careful work so far. So you see I'm doing both. I'm kind of poking, prodding, stroking. And we're at the stage now where I think we can pretty much go for a naked yellow, bearing in mind that there's still some of the previous layers on the brush, albeit not much. And it kind of helps keeping things homogenized. And then I can work it in here. Very careful from edges. You could jump to a smaller brush at this stage, won't matter at all. There you go. So that's building up there. Again, this I can show it elsewhere because I've not got much on the brush, but those little tiny textury stipple bits we built up, they're all picking up the work here. While I've got some extra on my brush, I'm just going to use it up in this section that we're going to be looking to make brighter anyway. How are you looking there?
Starting to get there. It's definitely taken a while to dry in some areas.
Get involve a little bit of your next paint and work from the top right hand corner down, so you've got the magical ice yellow there.
Yep. Need to get a bit more of this on the
scoop out of that if that's. You should always use a different brush for scooping to your palette. You only want paint that you've controlled and is on your brush in the manner that you're happy with to be on your your tools that you're working with. So I've got a pretty ancient brush there that I use for washes and stuff like that. And that's going to be our transporter. This is why a lot of people put their paint in strop bottles.
It's I have to admit I was a Citadel only person for a while, and then I started to go for other colours, and just dropper bottles as a whole are so much more helpful.
I know quite a few people have taken their entire collections and they've transferred them over.
Yeah, that's something I would love to do if I had the time. It's like, this would be really helpful, but I could also paint a lot in that time. So
if you roll a little bit of your ice yellow into your previous one, and then work up from that very top right hand corner.
Oh, that's way too much on there.
Right in the top right, and everything can be fixed.
So it feels like I'm occasionally approaching this from a weird angle.
Yeah, I've had that as well. I end up looking for where it looks wet against the light rather than where the colour is. I think that's getting a bit better.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Nice. Even if it means waving it around off camera, just make sure that one layer is dry before going to the other one. You should delete that. Oh, your ball patch is pretty much gone.
Yeah, that's got rid of it pretty much.
Yeah, so when you take paint with the brushes, I think this is, it's on camera beautifully. So rather than jabbing in, a lot of the stuff I do is rolling. So I'll make sure I go to the dampening pad first, and then I will roll it off.
Yeah,
drag it to the side, and then I take it to somewhere, and you see me doing this. That's to make sure that all the bits of the brush have it, and then once I've done that on my texture palette, that's the stage when I'm happy with going with kind of you're immune to making a mistake at this stage here. And there's a really fine line between not taking off too much. But if you see that bit there, it's just having exactly the right amount on a brush that isn't saturated.
Yeah, I have to admit, dabbing directly is a bad habit that I've got into. It's one of those things where I think sometimes you do something once, and then without thinking you do it again, and then before you know it, that's now the thing you do, and I have to consciously kind of go.
Yeah, you've got to just snap yourself out of it. Same with the scooping it from the scooping it onto the brush. Like that brush isn't going to behave in the manner that you've chosen if you use it as a transporter for like purple. Like Xero's purple covers amazingly. It also makes it a nightmare if you've done that on your brush.
Yeah.
Part of the reason for us choosing white bristles is you know what's going on in those bristles from previous layers.
Yeah.
Be that good or bad. See, I've worked up here. I'm actually going to go a little bit brighter with mine, I think. So I will step out a brand new, and for the first time so far in this video, we're going to use the small here, exactly the same hair in it. The smaller brushes are more delicate. Be really careful not to oversaturate them. You've got a shorter distance from the end of the brush to the ferrule, and getting paint into ferrules is what is the downfall of brushes. So take extra care on your shorter, smaller ones.
Have you ever seen someone do the thing where they take the entire brush, dunk it in the pot up to the point where it goes over the metal?
Yeah.
Don't ever do that.
Yeah, that's...
just flat out, don't.
Yeah, I shouldn't be using the word ferrule without explaining that is the metal bit. So, yeah, big no-no. A lot of people, James from Artis Opus, who I work with, who's a really good painter, he dips in like the front with his normal brushes. He only dips in the front 50%, maybe even the front third of them, and his brushes last forever. And he's a really, really good painter. So
I feel like my lack of smooth is actually quite a good. Gives kind of a good opportunity to point out just how easy it is to fix stuff like that. Because you can kind of go back to the base of it. This is something that I've done over and over again, especially with that big tank I've been doing.
Yep.
Where it's just not come out the way I've wanted it to, or I've gone like too far to the point where I've kind of, with that tank it's purple and pink and kind of turquoise and white, and it's kind of, there have been points where I've just gone way too far in terms of the highlight colours, so it's ended up too like turquoise, too white, but it's dead easy to sort it even just by taking it back to the base, because where that blend is there, it's gone a bit too far down to that side, but by putting a bit of purple over the top and then just relayering that, you can kind of
just do it again,
go back into the bit that you're happy with without actually touching the bit that you're happy with, really, which is something that I've found myself doing quite a bit, because it's one of those things where when it's especially when it's a new technique to you, you kind of, there's obviously a learning curve, isn't there? And
it's very easy to over worry about mistakes, I think, as well, when you're trying something that you haven't done before.
Yeah.
I'm using a new scale 75 paint here, therefore everything that's coming out the top is medium. Haven't quite got to the paint yet.
Really not. I'm trying not to. Just a tiny bit on that one bit.
Oh, there we go. We've got to proper paint now. Right, I've opened that one for you, and it is no longer in problematic drippy mode so much.
Okay.
It looks to be proper paint that's coming out now. So we're going to be using a scale 75 paint in our mix. I think we're using that before we're using a green.
There we go. That's already smoothed that area out, so it's
lovely.
Not as rough as it was. I do love scale 75, but I swear a lot of the time when I open them up, it's just like, where's the paint in this bit of paint?
Yeah, so
it's always the first
that
one.
That one's been shaken, so I think. She says with absolute certainty. What happens if you mix green and purple? You don't get blue, do you? No, you don't. Okay, yeah, we do need to use blue next. He says with absolute certainty. Okay, so here we're going to be carefully taking our imaginary purple line in the middle. Well, currently not imaginary, but our imaginary line in the middle. We're going to be working this way, and we're going to be mixing our purple and our blue together. These are super duper strong colours, like mega, mega, mega strong.
Right, I'll get a bit more purple on.
This blue is potent, so I'm going to be taking great care with it. Well, chances are you guys are going to be able to see this. This paint is nuts. It's extremely powerful. So this blue is a prime paint for making a mistake with because it is so strong. So I've mixed a little bit of it in with the purple. Don't be afraid to get your finger in there if you think you've done something that's a bit too permanent. If you guys do want to see an absolute pro doing these techniques better than us, by the way, it's worth going and having a look at Bohan's work because he is mind-blowing. He's also extremely quick. I've seen him do it in person and it is mind-blowing how quick that guy goes. So it is all the more important when using a colour this strong. Number one, not to dip into it with your brush that you're using, and number two, to make sure you do those cleaning steps between stages because it hangs about on bristles a lot. On the plus side, any colours that vibrant are amazing to work with for various other reasons, so it's not like it doesn't come with a load of positives. Right, so we've done our first layer there. Remove a load of my paint and then do a more subtle version. How's it going? That's like throwing in a trick paint for someone because it is nuts.
Finding actually the combination of the two is surprisingly tricky to work with.
Yeah, it is a difficult one.
Oh, there we go. Hang on.
Smudge it. That's what things are for. We can always work back into it as well with the colours. Mine's still drying. We'll draw your scale 75 paint. Come on. I've got a ball patch in mine now.
This is going to be the weirdest criticism of paint ever. Scale 75 paints taste weird.
They taste weird.
I don't know what it is about it. I realise
some
that sounds
taste
really...
or smell good, and some are awful. Like the old Citadel washes just tasted so disgusting.
I have a habit quite often of like licking the brush, doing a scale 75 on it. For some reason, it's really bad.
It's like putting that stuff on to stop people from biting nails or whatever.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Okay, I think it's not quite the right.
We'll fix stuff in the middle. I wouldn't have gone as high with it.
Yeah, I got into the I slipped into buffing instead of stippling, which I do sometimes, where I just kind of push up.
We can fix it. It's absolutely fine. So you've probably got enough blue there. So next, we're using another scale 75 paint. This one isn't quite as nuts. It's still a gorgeous colour, but it's very, very saturated, but it's not quite as potent as deep blue from scale 75, which is our previous one.
The one I've been using endlessly is Huldra Blue.
Yes, deep blue and Huldra Blue are almost swappable. Having said that, this one is so this is Boreal Green that we're trying out, which, if you're looking for a perfect companion for those paints, is a pretty good one. I'm sure you'll be a fan of that colour. It's amazing.
I already like that.
There we go. Okay, so let's I'll take you through every step of doing this. Let's try and do this stage exactly as you would do when you're being careful with the paint. So one drop there, press it in with your finger afterwards, and then if you've got too much coming off it, you just want like a light sheen.
Yeah.
Press it a few more times, go through all the fingers you have available until you've got something where basically you feel as if someone's lightly misted maximum your finger. So I'm good with mine now. feels about right. Brush in that first before going to our paint. Then remove any excess moisture here. Have a feel of it. You'll know if your brush is slightly damp. And then I'm going to
Mine's definitely. I just need to give mine a clean. It's kind of impressive when you think you've done it and then you end up with that.
Yeah. Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about the previous layers. We're all good. It's important for it not to be too wet inside as well. So to here a little bit. Happy with how that feels. We're fairly clean on the bristles as well. So I'm going to dip into our super strong blue a little bit and dip into our green a little bit as well and get what looks like visually looks like a 50-50 mix. Starting from the corner. So starting from the corner, really like very deliberate, careful from the corner, and you want to make the most.
Too much off again. It is definitely possible to get paranoid about having too much and end up taking way too much off.
Absolutely.
I think I've ended up with a sort of a lighter mix there. Making them with a bit more green in there.
Yeah. It's grand. Start from the corner. Hold it really, really securely. That's another thing. It does make a difference. And then like a very like deliberate's the word, from your corner, and then work it in kind of like zones or sectors. So dab, 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 dab in a line. And then as your paint disappears from your brush, you can get that kind of that bit where you're fading into the previous colour without as much worry.
Yep.
I'm not doing a puppet show if anyone's wondering. I'm just trying to dry mine under the lamp. So because you put your brush has got wet when you tried to clean it, you've got previous layers in it.
Yeah.
That's fine. You need a new brush. Okay.
Oh yeah, there it is. It's because when I was doing it on my hand, it felt dry all the way through. But then as soon as I pressed down, it's
that's okay.
Gone through.
So there is one, and put less on it.
Yep.
So pop them to the side. We can clean them at a later date. Dampening pad first. Just get rid anything that's going to get in your way of feeling like you control things exactly as well on your palette is a distraction. So anything that's over to your right and is up in your grill when you're doing it. There you go.
So I think as well there was not enough green in there last time.
Yeah. So gently like kind of roll off a bit of the green. That's it. And then take it to somewhere else on the palette. And the motion I use is this one. So just cool. Twist it around so all the bits of your brush have got the same amount on it. Good.
Yeah.
Right. Now try stippling that from the corner. I know it's not the right colour, but just to see how much is coming off.
That seems.
Yeah. Pokey pokey.
Yeah.
So. Does that feel better?
Yeah, that does feel better.
Fantastic. So do it just down, no smudging whatsoever. You're just going at it at 90 degrees, and if it's anything but that for this type of work, adjust it.
So just straight down with the brush and no.
Yeah. So what you want there is you're controlling the middle bit of your brush. That's going to be putting the most out. But if you press a little bit harder, the other bits are going to fade it. There'll be less around there. So again, like the Microsoft Paint spray tool, here's your dense stippling and here's your light stippling. So you're trying to work best with that. If you smudge, you're not getting to benefit from the shape of the brush as much. And then as you've got less on your brush, you can work your way up to the different sections. How are we looking now?
That's coming out a lot smoother.
Cool. That's coming out better.
Yeah.
So add a little bit of your blue to it, and then basically do exactly the same as you did there. just a tiny bit of the blue. You'll only need a little bit, and then the green as well, and work your way up. I'm going to go for pure green now. If it looks like it's too much, then I can always go back and address it. So I was just saying to John there, like, you're going at 90 degrees at your thing. You're not looking for any, you're looking to dot it. You're not looking to smudge it or dry brush it or anything like that just yet. You're very, very carefully choosing exactly where and how you're applying this paint, and that's where you get the ability to do the the airbrush smooth blends. When you get it right, the right amount on the brush, the right pressure, that type of stuff, that's when you feel like you've unlocked something new, basically. How is it?
I think that's a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Even though you've got the camera to really concentrate on that at your thing.
Yeah.
So if you do that at all, you just want to like peck it like it's a bird's head, like you're going.
Yeah.
So that's it. Could be the way you're used to painting, and I may have this better because I'm used to airbrushing. You're going like.
Yeah.
Like at it, quite gently when it hits it, but still it's pretty much purely a backwards and forwards motion.
Yeah. I'm doing a lot of like buffing as well at the moment, with a lot of the painting two Imperial Knights over the last few days. Every panel is curved down touching, so it's all circular motion.
Exactly.
It's weird how you kind of form the habit, and then it's like you can just shift surface
days,
I'm just waiting for that to dry because that's
no worries. I'm looking at doing mine. So I'm building up my green here. So we've done the first layer of just green. So I'll take it off the edge of it, roll it around as I said, and then it just adds it. So you can see it there's a fair bit on my brush, but I'm really carefully controlling how it leaves it. Getting softer as I get the bits where I get scared. Softly, and then take a bit of. It's very easy at that stage to carry on going, and that's when you obscure your previous layer, which is that's the big no-no at this point for what we're trying to achieve. We want to have a load of sections where we've left our previous work visible, and then we're jumping through it, and it's that's what will result in our like magic finish, where we can see a bit of everything going on. I want to make sure that I go.
Looking at the difference between the two, the actual like a lot of it is a lot of it feels like positioning almost.
Yes.
Like kind of
the spacings between colours. Yeah.
It's like kind of on mine. I feel like the theory is there, but the experience isn't.
Yes.
So it'd be a case of essentially just going back and practicing it and doing it a few times over.
Even doing a drawing or copying something can help. Like if you that's why black and white is good, because you're not changing colours. The only thing you have to know, like I could like draw on my phone now, take a picture of mine and say like this quadrant or whatever. Let's get something so I can point. It's like this quadrant here, top 16th, whatever it is, that is with 3/4 white and 1/4 grey, and then outside of that is another one which is 1/4 of it, that is 50-50, and then outside of that one is this and this, and you could literally draw it from there. It's really hard, that stuff. I still screw up on that a lot with layering, where like let's say I'm gonna edge highlight a space marine or whatever, my second to last layer is too narrow, so when I do my last layer I just cover over that one, and it's so easily done. And that's one of the things that the amazing painters absolutely smash, is just making sure that they get that and they nail it.
I'm going to see if I can do some of the I've still got a bit of the previous light in there. I have to admit, with the colours that I've been using a lot recently, the number of people who think I've got some sort of horrendous
skin disease
like, all across the back of my hand, just like purple and pink and blue.
Yeah, I've turned up a few days so without quite realising the implications of. being covered in bright red.
The blue and purple is definitely starting to look smoother than the top, but again, that's something that it'll be actually kind of not too difficult to go back and even those out.
You can do it in a middle bar. Absolutely. Do it between two layers as long as you're careful. Let's get you some new green. That looks a little bit less. There you go. Yeah, that's very different.
Not much in there.
So that one should be pretty nuts. Take it from the bit where I've dragged it out.
Just a little bit.
Dab it on a few sections, and then you want to make sure you put it on the end of the brush as well as the sides. So make sure when you're dabbing it, you also dab it.
Yeah.
Yep. And straight to your panel.
Okay.
At it. That's much better. That motion makes more sense. What I can start doing, even though mine hasn't completely dried yet, I can start involving a paint that dries faster than the scale 725 because I'm impatient. Let's do a bit of feels there. So use a little bit of scale. I'm using a large currently, by the way, in case people are wondering which size of brush I'm using for this. I could step to a smaller one, but I think I can achieve most of the stages that I want. Okay, so going to our ice yellow. Again, which is...
Yeah, I've realised I have a habit of curving when I'm doing this.
Yeah, you do. I'm not sure if it's because you're giving the camera too much attention, or the camera's perspective rather, too much attention.
Yeah, there's definite like bowing action going on as I'm going along.
It's interesting, isn't it, the thing to do without realising.
Might just be my terrible eyesight, if I'm honest. I have a great combination of incredibly short-sighted in one eye and incredibly long-sighted in the other
amazing.
eye. Which...
What a mix. Right, I am going to jump to another brush, I think, for these stages, because we're doing small sections. Incidentally, ice yellow and that green mixed over black, I'm finding out on my texture palette looks really good. That would be a very good way to do dark yellow.
Yeah.
Incidental discoveries.
I love ice yellow. It might be my favourite paint though.
It is.
It feels like you can take ice yellow and just do a light, just even the lightest kind of dry brush over almost anything, and it just looks better than it did before.
It's a really good homogenizing colour. So a lot of people choose to put the same colour in their final highlight for everything across a model. You can do that with padded witch first. You can do it with ice yellow. You can do it with a bone, rack flesh, anything of that kind of style, and you can add colours like that pretty much to anything. With ice yellow, you just get that slightly warm tint. Would be the result of adding it. Right, I have to be careful now. I'm going to go back to my reference. See, I did this last time. And work it in really carefully. It might be that I need to. I think I need to take a bit more green first.
Okay, now I think my green, blue, and purple side has actually come up okay now.
Yeah, it has. Just
got shaky at one point, but it's recovered, and yeah, I think if for like repairing the other side, it would just be a case of going over it, probably going over it again with the it's not pink horror, the other one, Screamer Pink.
Yes, Screamer Pink.
Yeah, I'm just building that back up to be straight instead of wonky.
So I just did a stage which I think was a bit too much of a jump. So I'm going to take some of my green, your green, because I think it's got less medium in it.
I think something actually that might be worth pointing out is we are currently doing a panel, but you could easily apply this to pretty much, well, that for instance.
Yeah.
Dozer blade off a Vindicator, any sort of large flat surface, or even, I mean, not even necessarily flat surface, anything of that sort of angular.
You could do it on wings as well if you wanted to do something really nuts. You could, nothing stopping you.
Now you've said that, I do have. That would be very tempting to do it on that.
There is nothing stopping you.
I was going to say, coherency between units, but then sometimes that doesn't really matter, does it?
No. A really good resource for stuff like this actually is if you look at like computer game art or something. Often you have an idea in your head that you shouldn't do something because it's a bit mental or whatever. Just look at computer game art. If there's some graphic of a character from a game or something, the colour spectrums used in those are mental, and they just work because they've got properly trained graphic artists behind them to make sure that they don't make a cock up. So you can use one of those as a visual reference, and then if you can find one of those that goes from this type of pink to this type of yellow, and you think you can find some pinks that are close to that, there is no reason not to try and do so.
Yeah.
So mine is pretty close to what I got from the last time, I think.
Yeah, that's. I
think it involved more pink last time. There you go. That's my copy. Probably looks closer on camera than it is in person. But as John mentioned, it's the I call them the timings between colours, or it could even be that on that one I've split this one like kind of down the middle diagonally, and on the previous one I did it like a quarter. That could make it look better.
So that edge was obviously, that's come out way better than the other side, because I managed to smooth out the bowing habit that I got the first time.
Adding yellow now.
It's actually it's not too far off.
No.
I in a way just did the same. Had the same approach as I did when it came to trying these out for the first time, just because I figure that's actually dried.
Is it dried?
Yeah. I just got confused.
Why won't it work?
Which was, if I can do something that previously I would not have thought I was capable of doing. There's actually still a bit of green in there.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's come out pretty well.
Okay, you're good. And then
so just
at it.
Very...
If that's not there, you're being naughty.
Oh yeah, I'm doing it the other way around. So
start in the other corner as well. Start right in the bottom, the safe zone.
Straight in there.
Yep. That's good.
And then up the side first, do you reckon?
Yeah. And it could be that you moved a bit much, but if you did, then just go back and remix it. That's good. That's the smoothest stippling you've done so far, I think. There. You needed bullying. That's really nice.
Yeah, I need someone to correct my bad habits that I've already formed.
And then the bottom edge as well. That's looking really good. Back to the palette, I think. That's wicked. That's really nice.
It is funny how quickly you fall into bad habits, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even when you've got literally the instructions that come with the brushes, and even that, it's just you do something that feels like a shortcut, and it's not really. No. But then you find yourself just doing it over and over.
Yeah. And it could be anything. It could be because you're holding it off to your right, therefore the angle looks different, whereas I'm holding it in front of me. Or like I said, it could be some super used to holding an airbrush. An airbrush is you use in that kind of I tell people to imagine like a bird picking up grains when you're teaching someone how to hold an airbrush.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same motion. And the techniques are actually extremely similar as well between both of them. I've got a bit of time, I may as well get out the extra small.
Yeah, that's come on way smoother.
How are you, winner?
Just get rid of the...
So I'm going to show you just how tiny you can do dry brushing here. I think this is still going to get picked up by the camera as well, which is good. But this is how delicate you can do dry brushing. I am highlighting the inside edges of those details there with the baby brush. So the rolling motion here. I can stipple down as well. Paint's a little bit dry, I've forgotten to go to the dampening pad, but you can fix that. Using my thumb as a palette there, we're using such small amounts of paint that that's absolutely fine. And what we can do as well, really carefully now, is those details that we've added from stippling in previous layers, as we always talk about with the base coat. You can do some of the most careful, gentle, like buffing style dry brushing and pick out some of those.
I have a hyper paranoia for ice yellow now. It's a great paint, but all too often I think I've got like more than enough off, and there's just somehow I just missed just that little bit,
tiny bit,
and it kind of have that mad panic moment where you kind of dab and then go, whoa.
Oh, I see. There's a couple of things that you can change that you're doing. When you go to a dampening pad, go from your dampening pad to your hand first to remove a tiny bit of it. You only want like the lightest smidge of it. And then I think also the way that you apply it to your brush, we can have a little look at that. We can find out a way to get that kind of more uniform, so you don't have surprise areas of the brush where you get a whoopsie, basically.
Yeah.
So my method is, let's say I'm changing between colours. We go to the dampening pad first, we use it on all sides of it, then hand or palette, take it off softly and wiping it again. It's all about using every single bit of your brush. Then to your paint, take it here, use it all areas, and then to model. But we don't want to. If you were too aggressive there, you'd remove it, and you'd be putting on enough paint for like very gentle edge highlighting.
Yeah.
We're still stippling at this stage, so careful not to do that. We did pick a really hard one to start with as well.
Really went for it.
Like literally, you could have done. We didn't even go light to dark. We went dark to light, change saturation.
Yeah.
To dark to light. It's fine. That's looking pretty funky. It's a holiday square.
Yeah, that's as I say, that's come out smoother, but that's, again, it's, when I say it doesn't matter, it genuinely doesn't matter if the first pass is not exactly how you want it to go, because you can go back and you can redo it, and you're applying, so you're not going to lose detail. You can go over the same area a few times, trying different colour schemes out and messing with it, and you're not going to end up...
Let's see what happens if I give you a brush that I have put the paint on. Okay, so that's got just ice yellow, so work your way stippling a bit in the corner, and then do some rolling edge highlighting with it.
Okay, so just...
Yeah, stipple. And then try the kind of the gentle rolling edge highlights. At it, not along it, at it.
So just straight down.
Up, that way. So you're hitting the edge of it, there you go. Even as you work your way up, so to show you're starting here, and then as you go up, you're going like this.
Yeah,
you want to be at it always, so move all of your hand with it and your wrist.
So instead of like going a diagonal, it's straight up on the same
always
spot
against
and then
the edge.
shifting.
If you're looking for edge highlighting effects, and then try the same on the other edge. I'm not sure if it's. I might need to give you some more now. Is it still edge highlighting it?
Yeah, it's still.
Get a little bit more. So here, dampen, remove. Here we go. Test it on all areas. Then quickly to it while it's, because you know how it behaved there. You don't want to waste time getting it from there to the model. How's that working?
Better. So I need to work on my.
Is this? I think it's this step here.
Yeah.
And it kind of like there is a difference between the highlighting stage and the base stage and the middle stage. They've all got a slightly different application to how much is on the brush, the way you get the model, or
I have to admit, realistically, I haven't actually got towards highlighting very much so far. A lot of what I've been doing is kind of taking that aspect of actually being able to do kind of fairly large kind of surface area blends and gradients, and I've been applying that to all the things that previously I didn't think I could paint.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, oh, I can do the thing I'd like to do. I haven't actually got to the stage of trying to properly edge highlight stuff with the brushes because I've been so focused on things like massive wings and large surface area tanks. And
let's try you on. See if I do the same again. Get ready to snag this off me fast. I'm going to give you this one for some light rolling inside edge highlights. So try and in this purple bit, try and work against that.
So just in there.
Yeah.
And
against it.
Like
exactly like that. You can be a bit more. Oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah, there we go.
That is. I nearly swore. That's really good. Well done.
It's alright. I tend to swear a lot.
That's right. Well, that's fucking perfect. That's great. There you go. So that's what you've just got to work on, that little nuance of how much is on the brush. You've got you're saying you do have the control. It's making sure you know what you're doing with your hand. You've got the dexterity. It's just whether you're behaving yourself or not.
Yeah,
really, more than anything.
It's the step before that I need to rein it in a little bit.
That's good. You're doing like mega, super pristine corner edge highlights there. That's really nice.
Yeah.
So you're doing. You're like. I'm not sure if that's something you've done often in the past.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I've avoided stuff like that because
that's badass.
It has also. I have to admit, there has been like a learning curve as well because I've always required unsteady hands.
Yeah.
And I've always held brushes in such a way that my hands shake them when I've painted.
Rather than bracing.
But quite a lot of the time, I found if I brace it or if I hold my fingers like that, then that gets rid of any like minor shaking that happens.
There is another one as well, which is really weird. You can do. You can take an elastic band, wrap it around your thumb, and then wrap it around these two fingers to tension them.
I did do that for a little bit. Yeah. When the first time I saw that, I gave it a try, and that for some reason, doing that for about a week took a lot of the shake out. Just generally, I still have no idea why I do it occasionally, but that helped quite a lot.
That's good. That's really good. Like you've got the control there, and that square is pretty awesome. Yeah,
it's just. Not doing curves and actually keeping it as straight lines, which is
going at it. So if you think like when my mum used to say this because I've got awful handwriting. My mum used to say she could tell what I was writing by looking at it because I exaggerated the end of my pen so much. So if you think if this is directly above that, you're good. If this is ever not, you're bad.
Yeah.
So as a general rule of thumb, if you're here and if that isn't just to whatever your thing is, you could be working at this angle, of course. That'd be fine. That's just keep your eye on that. It's a general rule of thumb.
Yeah,
that's pretty badass.
Yeah, I think that's worked pretty well in the end.
Right, well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Next time, Byron is going to demonstrate painting a ghost wall, which is, I think, my favourite thing that we did on that day where we filmed all these videos. It looks so good. It looks absolutely awesome and surprisingly easy to do, but super effective. So a kind of similar thing to the panel, but really, really saturated kind of ghostly spectral colours. It looks really cool, so I'm looking forward to you guys seeing that. That'll be next week's video, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you very much for watching. As I said before, if there's anything you want to know about Artis Opus, the Series D stuff, then there's a bunch of links in the description, so you can go and check them out there. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to, and I will see you for the next one.